Today on Trisha. She lied to Albert about her age when she was only 14. Now she's claiming that this baby is his.
Jeremiah is his son.
People are calling you a child molester.
Some people have said that to me.
You could have gotten in trouble with the law.
Yeah, I know. I could have.
We try to tell him that all the time, even now.
Krystal says she's here to save her brother from a liar and a cheater.
How old are you, Becca?
It don't matter.
How old is he?
It don't matter.
He ain't no child, though.
The shocking admissions just keep coming.
Yes, I did lie about my age.
I've cheated quite a few times.
They were sleeping
you
with
was?
each other in my house.
You knew she was 13?
I knew she was
So
sleeping
you
with
think
them.
cute?
No, but like, you know what?
The DNA results are in. Jimmy suspects Cheryl is drugging him so she can cheat.
There's been a couple times after finishing my meal. Now, I've had to pass out. I'll wake up maybe a couple hours later. I noticed her sitting in this recliner. Her breasts were exposed. I think she was having sex.
Why do you tell everybody that you think that I'm doing these awful things? How much can somebody take, Jimmy? How much can somebody take?
We'll give Jimmy a drug test.
Opiates, positive. Benzodiazepines, positive.
And Cheryl will face the lie detector.
Did you ever give poison to your husband?
The polygraph determined that Cheryl.
Today on Trisha.
Joining me is Krystal. Now, Krystal is on a mission to save her 29-year-old brother, Albert, from a lifetime of lies and deceit. You see, Albert's 17-year-old fiancée, Rebecca, admitted she blatantly lied about her age when they first met. Now, apparently, she told Albert she was 18 years old, when in fact, she was only 14. And Krystal says her lies don't end there. She's convinced Rebecca has been cheating on her brother throughout their entire relationship and is falsely accusing him of fathering her 7-month-old son. There's Jeremiah. But look, before I talk to Krystal, Rebecca had a message for you that she wanted you to hear. Watch this.
Krystal, you need to accept the fact that me and your brother are in love and that Jeremiah is his son. I will not let you break up our happy family. I admit I did lie about my age, and yes, I did cheat in the beginning. But I will not let you break me down. I'm not a hoe, I'm not a liar, and I will prove it. Let's get this straight. I never told Albert he had to choose between me or his family. Albert chose me and his son all on his own. I don't care what you think anymore. I love your brother and he loves me, and at the end of the day, we're gonna be a family.
Wow, how do you feel about that?
It's not even that I'm trying to break them up. She was 13.
13, not 14.
Not 14.
So your brother was how old?
I'm not sure. He's 29 now. This was 4 years ago. So how many other people have you told
13.
you was of age and you was...
This is Aunt Lynn. This is Rebecca's Aunt Lynn.
14 when she started
was
seeing her.
13.
No,
How
no,
long
no.
they been together?
I've been there from the very beginning, from the very
Oh, you was
first
there when
day. They were coming to
I'm
my
sorry.
house.
Was you there when they had
seeing
sex?
each other, yes. They were sleeping
you
with
was?
each other in my house. I was
As
there.
a 14?
And it's her end. You see what I'm saying?
She was.
Lynn, can I...
So it's
The
okay
father
that
of her
she
kid.
told him that you knew she was 13?
Yes, I knew she was
so
sleeping
you
with
think
him.
that you?
No, but they like, you know what? Age ain't nothing but a number.
Okay.
Age ain't nothing but a number.
Okay, Lynn.
But you think it's
Just a
cute for
minute,
you to
Lynn,
come
Lynn.
on this show and to call her a hoe and this and
I ain't
that.
called her a hoe
you
yet, but
need to
you
make
know
up.
she
You
is.
need to accumulate your.
Lynn, just a minute. Let me...
She's called her
Hang
a
on,
hoe before she came on the show.
Hold on a second. Did I hear right? Did you say that you knew your 14-year-old or 13-year-old, however old?
12-year-old.
Well, hang on.
She was 14.
Did you know she was having sex under your roof
Yes,
with
I
a
did.
25-year-old man? You didn't have a problem with that?
No, to me, age isn't nothing but a number.
The law... So let me come back to you, Krystal.
Yes,
I
and
mean,
so
there's a whole legal issue there.
This is why I'm upset, too, as well with her, because she's saying she knew, first of all, and the girl was living with my mom.
She was living at home with her mom.
Okay, before we come to that, what do you think? Are they a happy couple now? No, and this is Lamont.
That's my
your
oldest brother.
Do people say stuff about your brother?
Yeah, they
being
do.
What do they
I'm gonna keep
say?
it real.
What do they call your brother?
It's embarrassing.
A child molester.
You know what I mean?
But he chooses to stay with her.
I tell
if
my
he
brother
didn't
all
want
the
to be
time.
with her and didn't want to be called them names, then he shouldn't be with her.
So what advice do you give your brother, Lamont? What do you say to him about Rebecca?
If Jeremiah is his son, be a dad, take care of her. Leave her ass alone.
Leave him alone.
Leave her
Thank
alone.
you. I'll come back to you in a minute, Lamont. Now, in that tape piece that Rebecca, the message for you, she did admit that she cheated in the beginning. Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew she cheated in the beginning. I think she still cheats.
When you first found out that Albert was dating her and you first saw her, what did you think?
She was a baby.
She was telling him she was
older
18.
than 18.
But what did you think?
I knew she was young.
Well, did you tell your brother?
Yes, I did.
And what did he do? What did he say?
He said she's of age, she had an ID. I mean, you can get them, but to go there, you have to be 18 or older.
What made you
suspicious? She had a
suspicious?
bus pass like she went there. Because she looked like a baby and she acted young.
Do you think that maybe Jeremiah has not been fathered by your brother, some other guys?
I don't think so.
You don't think
he don't look like us and the baby don't look mixed. I have
Not
two
at
mixed
all.
kids.
Yeah.
So I don't think he does.
I think he looks just like Albert. He's got his nose and his eyes.
So why is she still why would she pin a baby on your brother?
Because my brother's a good guy.
How does this affect your relationship with your brother?
We get into it with him. He loves her. I ain't gonna say he don't. I still think she's too young. Leave her alone.
Do you think you want them to split up?
She's still too young.
Look, I want to give Rebecca a chance to defend herself against these allegations. At the moment, she's 17 years of age. So let's meet
still a
Rebecca.
baby.
Come on out. My producer's telling me that she's in tears backstage. So I don't know exactly what she heard that upset her. So let's go backstage. What's the matter, sweetheart?
I just feel like they're against me. They wasn't acting like that not too long ago.
So this is the first time you've ever picked up on this? You've never had any problems
No,
with them
I've
before?
never had no problems with none of them except for Krystal.
So what's Krystal said to you before in the past?
Like I know she don't like me because of what I did in the beginning, but that's the beginning. That's not
When you
now.
say what you did, what do you mean?
I cheated on Albert in the beginning, and yes, I did lie about my age.
So how old were you? She's saying 13.
No, I know I was 14.
But it's still pretty. Why did you lie about your age?
I lied about my age only because I knew if I wouldn't have told him my real age, he wouldn't have messed with me.
Was he your first love, or had you been
Yes,
involved
he
with anybody
is.
else?
Like, we've been together for a long time. Like, this is my longest relationship.
Is he the only guy you've ever had sex with?
Not the only guy.
Because you cheated on him.
Yeah.
So come on, let's go out and talk about this. Watch this step, kid. You want to sit on the end? Yeah. Oh, okay. So how come you haven't actually said any of this to Rebecca's face?
She's lying.
Why did you
No,
not?
I don't
why
feel-
have you
I
not
don't have no
voiced your
problem.
concerns before to her face?
Out of respect for my little brother, you know what I mean? I don't feel it's right. I ain't got no quarrels, no problems with you. I like you, but you're just too young. When my brother come to me, pretty much crying on my shoulder, I don't like that.
And what's he crying on your shoulder about?
With the text messages and dudes calling the phone. That's
really?
troublesome.
Yes.
Like I told him, if that was me, it
Chat
wouldn't
lines?
Yes, I do admit that.
Why?
Because I felt that when he went to, because I told him, I said, either you could stay here or you could go do whatever you want. And I feel like when he was with these two, they just let him do whatever he wanted. I feel like maybe he was seeing other
How old are
girls
you?
or other
Can I say
things.
something?
Yeah.
How old are you, Rebecca?
It don't matter.
How old is he?
It don't matter.
He ain't no child, though.
Okay, it don't matter.
But you just said
But
that
you're
like
sitting
he's
here calling
Jeremiah.
me a child, but you're
You
arguing
is
with,
a
But you're
child.
arguing with a child. So what
All
that
right,
makes
so
you?
I'm gonna turn this way.
No
and
matter
talk
what
to her.
age they are, doesn't give him the right to go out and cheat on her just because
Just
he's
a minute,
doing
just a
that.
minute.
Then
Are you
they don't need to be together
Are you
anyway.
saying that Albert was cheating on you, so you
Yes,
got on the chat
yes,
line?
yes.
So
So
when's
you
the last
should not
time
have got
either of
pregnant.
you've cheated? Or should I be asking?
I have not cheated since I had my son.
Yes, but what about
said-
9 months before you had your son? Was
Yes,
that the
that's what I'm
beginning?
talking about. Before I had my son.
The question is Jeremiah his son?
Yeah,
if you
he
were
is.
fooling around with someone else around
No,
the time
when
of
I got
conception,
pregnant, no, I was not.
so there's no chance that
No.
this child is not Albert's
No.
baby.
They're just saying because he's too white.
Everybody in my family says that.
All right.
Just because they be fake to y'all face, I tell you. So I ain't got nothing to do with that. Period.
All right.
At all.
What we're going to do is we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll hear from the man in the middle, Albert. Stay with us. Next.
You could have got in trouble with the law.
Yeah, I know. I could have
We
gotten
try
in
to
trouble.
tell him that all the time, even now.
If you know that a man in his 20s is laying down with someone who's under...
he was at the time either.
legally allowing a minor to have sex in your house, that's a no-no.
Later,
There's been a couple times after finishing my meal that I've felt so groggy. I mean, I've had to pass out. I'm convinced she's drugging me so she can cheat.
the truth is revealed.
I think she was having sex.
Today on Trisha.
We were talking to Krystal. Now, Krystal's hoping to save her 29-year-old brother, Albert, from making the biggest mistake of his life by staying with his 17-year-old fiancée, Rebecca. Now, the big question is Jeremiah Albert's little boy? So let's hear what the man in the middle has to say. Let's welcome Albert. Hi, Albert.
How's it going?
You got the seat in the middle. How are you doing?
Not so good because the simple fact, what hurts me the most about this whole situation is everything that's going on with my family and her family.
Like what?
Just calling her, saying she's a whore, and I mean, like, I've had people come to me and tell me stuff, and
Tell you what kind of stuff?
that she was sleeping with some of their friends.
But what
and-
about your brother saying people are calling you a child molester?
Yeah, some people have said that to me.
Aunt Lynn says that you two had had sex
Yes.
in her house.
Yes.
Did you think because Aunt Lynn sanctioned it, so was okay with it,
No,
that she must have been of age?
Yes.
So
They were doing it before they came to my house.
I didn't know.
Messing around before they came to my house.
But Lynn, I didn't know how old she was at
And
that
I
point in
wasn't
time.
aware that you didn't
because
know how old
when
she
we had a
was.
Well,
barbecue.
hang on, that should have been an issue. If you thought, here's
No,
this
I did not
20-something year
know
old...
that he was not aware of how
But
old
no,
she
no,
was.
I'm hearing what you're saying, but what I'm saying is if you, as an adult, if you know that a man in his 20s is laying down with someone who's
how
under...
old he was at the time either.
Wait,
He didn't
how
tell
old
me
you
that
thought he
either.
was, baby? Because he looks older than he is. So how old did you think he
How
was?
old did you think he was?
All I knew is they had a relationship before I knew about it.
Lynn, I hear what you're saying. I want to cover for you because legally allowing a minor to have sex in your house, that's a no-no.
Right, and I understand that.
Whatever. But when you found out, Krystal said she came to you and she told you that this wasn't any 18-year-old. Why didn't you act upon her information? Why didn't you
I
do
don't
so?
know. I just, at that point in time, I didn't know.
You could have got in trouble with the law.
Yeah, I know. I could have
We
gotten
try
in
to
trouble.
tell him that all the time, even now.
So you think she's cheating on you?
Either way, the only thing I want to find out if the little boy is mine.
So you saying she's cheated on you?
Yeah, she did cheat on me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I cheated on her out of revenge.
So do you think Rebecca cheated around the time she fell pregnant?
Yeah, I do.
The last time either of you cheated was when?
Well, the last time I cheated was sometime last year.
How many times have you cheated?
I've cheated quite a few times.
That's not funny, but...
And how many times have you cheated, Rebecca?
The same as him.
Quite a few times.
So that's what I'm saying. Why should they still even...
So neither of you can trust each other?
Technically, no.
No.
So what happens if this little boy isn't yours? What are you going to... I don't know what the DNA said. What are you going to do?
Well, I'm still gonna beat it.
Is there anything that you want to say to Albert?
Yes, I did cheat with multiple guys. More than you know about.
How many more?
I'm not sure.
Can I ask you when the last time you cheated was?
Before I had my son. Like way before I got pregnant.
Way before. But when you say more, we're talking what, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
5?
Maybe
6?
more. I don't...
Were you very young when you became sexually active?
Yes.
Was that of your choice?
No.
See, here's the thing. When you get with somebody who's vulnerable, okay, all sorts of things happen, sweetheart. And what I'd like to do before I even come to the DNA test results, I don't know what they are, but please, while you're here, would you sit down? We have a fantastic counselor, okay? Do you want to open your Albert?
So you are the daddy of
told
them.
you.
So what now?
I'm gonna be his father.
Okay, so what are you going to teach him being a man is all about? Because that's what you need to think about. It's not about the money. It's not about anything else. It's about setting a good example as parents, whatever your age is. What's done is done. But what you can do is stop things being repeated. So I'm going to send you two off now to sit down right now and sit down and do some real heavy work with our counsellor. Okay, sweetheart? Is that okay? Do you give your permission? Because she still is a minor.
Yes.
That's probably the best thing you've given her permission to do so
But see,
far.
it wasn't just me giving them permission.
I know.
They could have turned him in just as much.
But this is a new beginning.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back. Next, Jimmy suspects Cheryl is drugging him so she can cheat.
There's been a couple times after finishing my meal that I've felt so groggy. I mean, I've had to pass out. The next thing I know, I'll wake up maybe a couple hours later. I noticed her sitting in this recliner. Her breasts were exposed, and I think she was having sex.
Is revealed.
I think she was having sex.
Today on Trisha. Okay, this is Cheryl. Now, after 2 failed marriages, Cheryl had given up on love until she found her husband, Jimmy. Now, they're about to celebrate their 1-year anniversary, but Cheryl fears they'll be signing divorce papers instead. You see, Jimmy's convinced his wife is not only cheating, but secretly drugging him so that she can sneak men into their home. In fact, Jimmy claims on one of the nights he was drugged, he caught Cheryl half-dressed and in a compromising position on their own recliner. And that is not the only evidence he claims to have. Listen to his story.
My wife, Cheryl, is supposed to be my second chance at love, but I think she's being unfaithful. In fact, I think she's doing it in the house that we share. I'm convinced she's drugging me so she can cheat. There's been a couple times after finishing my meal that I've felt so groggy. I mean, I've had to pass out. I have to go lay down. I can't even keep my eyes open. That's when I think she's bringing men into the house. And there also was a time when I came in the living room. I found her on our recliner. Her breasts were exposed. She was all sweaty. She was propped up on pillows. Her legs were spread open. I think she was having sex. I also came home from work one day. I found a pair of pantyhose tied up, torn apart. They looked like they had been used for sex. I walk in the kitchen one day and I find a vase full of red roses. She said a family member gave them to her. Only a man in love sends roses like that. I would hate to think that I'm married to a whore who would not only cheat on me, but would try to harm me physically. The thought of having to sign divorce papers after our 1-year anniversary not only kills me, but there may be no other choice.
Wow. So that's a whole long list of accusations.
And it's been going on for about 6 months.
What happened?
Now, I don't know.
What happened? What was the first time he came to you and said, look, I think you're playing around?
The recliner incident.
What did he say? What did he think
He said he heard the door closed. He knew I was having sex in the chair.
So he thought that while he was ill in bed, you were having sex with him?
And that I drugged him because he was groggy. He couldn't wake up. And the reason why he didn't go, because I asked him, I said, you know, if you thought I was having sex, why didn't you go through the house? Because he was so messed up because I drugged him.
So he thinks you're putting stuff in his food?
Right. And now it's got to the point where he's told his parents that if something happens to him, that they're going to do an autopsy because I'm poisoning him. And, yeah, I mean...
Wow.
If I was thinking somebody was poisoning me, I wouldn't be eating their food.
So he still sits down and eats them?
Yeah.
Now, Tell me about the pantyhose.
I came home one day and I found a pair of nylons that were cut and tied like loops. And I asked him about it, and of course he accused me of it.
Doing what with them then?
Being tied up in the bed, and I guess having, yeah.
Have you ever cheated on him?
No, I have not.
You haven't at all?
I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with this man.
Does he check your phone? Does he go?
Checks my phone all the time. New Year's, I got a text from somebody that said, Happy New Year's. I don't know who it was, but of course it was my boyfriend.
Oh, that's what he said. He's
Yeah,
your boyfriend. When you deny this, what does he say? How does he react?
Awful. I mean, nobody deserves to be talked to, and I'm guilty of it too. I'm guilty of it. I defend myself. I'm sorry.
You defend yourself. Now,
I defend myself in such a mean way because I am sick of being accused.
Does he examine your body? Is he looking for marks or anything?
I had some bruises on my legs because I was helping him, and yeah.
You had bruises on your leg, and what did he think they come
I guess he thought that was from, something I probably should have done. I don't know. I just, like I said, I'm to the point where I don't crave him anymore.
So your love life is that?
Yeah, we don't sleep together,
Do you sleep in the same bed?
A lot of times not. A lot of times not, no.
And how long have you been married now?
We haven't even celebrated our first-year anniversary.
Wow. Well, as you can see, Cheryl is distraught by these allegations, so I want to give Jimmy a chance to explain to us why he feels his own wife is betraying him. Let's meet Jimmy. So, Jimmy, do you feel safe around this woman?
Sometimes no, ma'am.
What makes you feel unsafe around her? What is she doing that makes you worried?
It started out very great, and lately I've been seeing things around the house that there can only be one reason for it. It's just us two there at the house.
But your food, do you think she's poisoning you?
A couple times, I think, after eating the way I felt, something was going wrong.
So why did you eat it? I mean, why did you eat my food if you thought I was poisoning you, Jimmy?
Well,
why do you tell everybody that you think that I'm doing these awful things? How can you tell me that you love me and you think that I would do this to you? How can you do that? And then after you say all the things that you say to me that hurt me the most, that cut like a knife, how can you say you're sorry?
I'm interested in what you're seeing. Now, the pantyhose there.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, where were they?
I came home from work one day. I normally, go straight in and sit down and have some water. I do landscape work. I happened to go into the bedroom. I had some jeans that were laying on the floor in the bedroom.
Right.
And I picked those up, and they were laying on the floor of the bedroom.
So when you say pantyhose, what was it that was so different about them?
They were actually knotted up, for instance.
With loops.
Like, can you show me?
Yes, ma'am. They were actually knotted up. Looked like to me that they would fit on someone's wrist.
Actually, there was four.
One side was like cut, maybe. I don't know if they were cut during the sex. I mean, I didn't put them in there. I mean, how did they get on the floor?
Were they yours? How did
No, they weren't mine.
They weren't yours. So how'd they get there?
I don't know. I know I didn't put them there.
And tell me, I've got a picture of a piece of furniture in your house, and I just wanted to get your reaction. What do you feel when you see that?
Chair that I had sex in.
I really don't like looking at it, Trish.
He doesn't. He's
why? So when you do look at it, what do you think? What do you feel?
After dinner one night, I started feeling very groggy. I actually felt like I was going to pass out. I went to the bed and I laid down. The next thing I know, I wake up maybe a couple hours later. My mouth was so dry that I needed some water.
And I did it.
As I went through the living room, I noticed her sitting in this recliner. She was propped up on pillows. I mean, her breasts were exposed.
I was having wild sex.
There was sweat on her breast.
Could she be having a hot flash, like she said?
Thank you very much. This is exactly what I was having. I'm 54 years old. I do have hot flashes.
That doesn't look like any hot flash I've ever seen.
Well, excuse me. I'm in a silk night shirt.
Then I go back and lay down, Cheryl, after getting the water, going back the other way. I could have swore I heard the front door open
Why
and close.
didn't you get up and look? If you thought somebody was going out of the house, why didn't you get up and look? Why didn't you, Jimmy?
Now,
Why didn't you?
You told your family to do something.
You accused me, yeah. You've accused me of all this. And you know, I did.
You know, I was very incoherent because of something that was
Because
put
I
on me.
drugged you. That's right. That's right.
Okay,
I
so
will
what
be
have you
so
told
glad
your
when this lie
family
detector
if
comes
something
out.
happens to you?
I
What have you
actually told my mom and dad to do an autopsy on
Because
me
I
because I
poisoned
think
him.
there's something going on because of the way that I'm feeling. from
Take
what I'm
hair
doing.
samples because I
So
poisoned him.
what? I don't understand it. So you think that she's poisoning you and she's having men in the house? Why wouldn't she just leave you? Why would she hang around and
Thank
do
you.
that?
That's what doesn't make
Thank
sense.
you.
Chris.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you?
Because he's a millionaire and I'm going to inherit a whole bunch because I'm his wife, right?
Have you got a lot of money?
I come from money, yes, ma'am.
He does come from money,
it's
but you
not
don't
my
have money.
The money I have, I work hard for.
You come from money, but it's not yours.
What
Your
about
parents.
messages in her phone? Have you ever seen anything that's made you suspicious about that?
Yes, ma'am.
Happy New Year.
Especially after the roses. Well, in fact, an instance before the
Happy
roses.
New Year's was before the roses,
One
Jimmy.
popped up, I miss you, and then for some reason we go to
I
my...
have a lot of friends. I've had this phone since 2006, Jimmy.
You disappeared.
I feel bad because
for
we
2
put your
days.
parents through what
For
we
2
did.
days you disappeared.
For 2 days, I
You
went
would
to
not
my
even
RV.
answer your
Yes, I went to my
telephone
RV.
after the
yeah,
text
because you know
message
what?
that
How
I
much?
miss you.
How much can somebody take, Jimmy? How much can somebody take?
Now, you said when she was in the recliner that you thought you heard the front door go.
Yes,
Don't you have an alarm system or something like that?
We
I
do now.
At the time, I did not.
Right.
Okay. I did
But I
hear
don't
the
even have
door
the
open and
code. I don't know how to
close.
use it.
Why would she be sitting
Well,
in
I don't have the
Just a minute,
password.
just a minute. You don't have the password?
No, I'm not
Why
allowed
not?
to, because I have to be, he has to be there for me to enter the house or I don't get in.
I did not put
Ryan.
the system in to watch her. I put the system in because if she is not doing this, somebody is coming to our home and playing against us.
So, as you know, Jimmy's convinced his wife is cheating on him and even worse, drugging him so that she can sneak these alleged lovers into
And
their
I have
home.
an RV. Why would I do that?
So, listen, what we've done is we've given Jimmy a drug test and we've given Cheryl a lie detector test, and we will have those results after the break. Stay with us. Next. We've done a drug test, so let's find out if it comes up with anything.
Okay.
Okay. Opiates, positive. Benzodiazepines, positive.
You are the five. Get off my stage.
The truth is revealed.
I think she was having sex.
Today on Trisha. Before the break, we were talking to newlyweds Cheryl and Jimmy. Now, Jimmy claims he has a mountain of evidence that proves his wife has been drugging him and then sneaking strange men into their home for sex. In fact, Jimmy's worried that his wife is not only cheating, but trying to poison him too. So here's what we've done. We've given Cheryl a lie detector test and Jimmy a drug test. But before I reveal the results, Jimmy, last night we put Cheryl in one of our green rooms with a hidden camera where apparently she made some revelations. I don't know what they are, but I hope that this gives us all some insight. Have a look at this.
And you didn't do anything. I know. I wish now that I would have done something. Yeah. I don't feel like I felt. I craved him. I enjoyed that excited feeling that I had for him.
And now you don't have it anymore.
I just look at it like this, you know, you just can't be very much of a man if it makes you feel better, bigger to put me down. He's mean and he should have been a woman. Time to move on and get my life right the way I want it to be happy.
And that's how you really feel this has got to you that much. How do you feel seeing that?
That really bothers me. I can't believe that she's saying that.
What, you think even more now that she is poisoning you?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, good. Let's hear the lie detector test.
Really?
Then.
Yes, ma'am.
So so therefore you should have some drugs in your system. So let's get to your drug test. Now, let me ask you, how often do you think that Cheryl is drugging you on a regular basis, every mealtime, now and then? What?
I know several times, and I didn't say anything to your producers about this. Before we got married, I actually went to a swimming pool and met one of her friends. I was drinking beer at the time. She brought me a cup. I remember going down the street. She'll account for this. That I started hallucinating, hon. I was seeing 6, 7 cars.
But you found something on my floorboard that you put in your mouth.
No.
So we've done a drug test, so let's find out if it comes up with anything.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know what this is. So we tested for marijuana, negative, cocaine, negative, fet, negative, opiates, positive, benzodiazepines, positive. Opiates refers to any drug that is derived from the opium poppy, including morphine, codeine,
Morphine, you just had it at the hospital last week. They gave it to you in
hydrocodone, and
the vein.
Did you have morphine at the
Yes,
hospital?
he did. They put it in the vein. Carolina's medical.
That's been a couple weeks ago.
It is not. It was
Okay.
last week.
Benzodiazepines, medication that frequently, yes, are prescribed for symptomatic treatment of anxiety and short-term relief from sleep disorders.
She keeps that in a bottle. In fact, that's what I think maybe that she had put me down with before is the diazepam. I know it's a Valium. I have not
Are you
taken,
saying you've never been prescribed any of these things?
I have been prescribed an opiate before because of my neck condition. I have degenerative disc in my neck. I have taken a hydrocodone in the past for this.
Anything, any anxiety disorders?
But the anxiety disorders, no ma'am, I do not take any medications.
Let's come to the lie detector test, because that'll tell us the rest of it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right. So, Jimmy, Cheryl, sitting on our audience is Tim Acosta, our private investigator and polygraph examiner. Tim, are you ready for the results?
Yes.
Yes.
We are Cheryl. We asked you, is it true that you drugged your husband? You said no. Tim. Next. Cheryl will face the lie detector. Did you ever give poison to your husband?
The polygraph determined that Cheryl
is revealed.
I think she was having sex.
Today on Trisha.
My wife Cheryl is supposed to be my second chance at love, but I think she's being unfaithful. I'm convinced she's drugging me so she can cheat.
And how long have you been married now?
We haven't even celebrated our first year anniversary.
Do you feel safe around this woman?
Sometimes no ma'am.
We've done a drug test. Opiates, positive. Benzodiazepines, positive. Any anxiety disorders?
But no ma'am, I do not take any medications.
Well, let's come to the lie detector test, because that'll tell us the rest of it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
We are Cheryl. We asked you, is it true that you drugged your husband? You said no. Tim.
The polygraph determined that Cheryl was being truthful.
Ha! Thank you.
We asked you, did you ever give poison to your husband? You said no. Tim.
The polygraph determined that Cheryl was being truthful.
See there? Do you see there?
We asked you.
Do you see what you've done to us, Jimmy?
Were the cut-up pantyhose Jimmy found in your bed from sexual intercourse you had with another man? You said no. Tim.
The polygraph determined that Cheryl was being truthful.
Thank you, thank you.
We asked you,
How good do you feel now, Jimmy?
did you have sexual intercourse with another man when Jimmy caught you in a compromising position on that recliner? You said no. Tim.
The polygraph determined that Cheryl was being truthful.
We asked you, during your relationship with Jimmy, have you had sexual intercourse with another man? You said no. Tim.
The polygraph determined that Cheryl was being truthful.
How probably the best thing you ever had, Jimmy, and you've ruined it. You've ruined it.
And let's talk to Jimmy. This is going to be really distressing. Has it ever happened to you before, when you've been really convinced something was happening and it wasn't?
Yes, ma'am, with a girlfriend before. Now I'm beginning to wonder if someone's playing us against each other. You have actually said that someone has come into our house and put tapes in there, CDs were missing.
They were gone.
You have said someone has infiltrated our house.
Whoa, just a minute. You said you were like this with a previous partner. Did you think someone was coming in and having sex with her too?
No, ma'am, I never accused her of that.
But did you think of it, that was happening?
I knew she was running around. I mean, she would leave every other day. You know what I'm saying?
But just like you knew Cheryl was, just like you knew.
I actually thought deep down inside Trish that Cheryl was doing something. That was a very compromising position.
I hear what you're saying, but are you self-medicating? Have you used any drugs at all to get through this?
No, ma'am.
None at all?
Just church. I'm going to church on a steady basis.
Okay, what I'm really suggesting that you do, what I'm really suggesting that you might think of doing is, when you said a regular doctor, have you been evaluated by a mental health team?
Yes,
and
I have.
You have?
Yes, tell her what they said,
Come on,
Jimmy.
tell
The
her.
psychiatrist.
I've actually, you know, I mean, I've
were
gone
bipolar.
and seen a couple people, and they mentioned something about a bipolar disorder, which I'm not very familiar with.
But you won't admit to it, and you won't get help for it.
I don't believe this.
So do you get anxiety attacks when you get quite panicky?
No, ma'am. I've been
Jimmy, you have them in your sleep.
That's what I was fixing to try to tell her, if you'll let me talk. I've been having something going on for about 2 years, guys. I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'll be sweating and my heart will be pounding. They told me it was maybe anxiety attacks in my sleep.
And do you get times when you feel, yeah, I can handle the world, and then other times when you just feel pretty flat and low?
Yes, ma'am. This here, because this girl right here is my soulmate. I've never been in love before. I really love her.
But apart from that, this as a general way of life, sometimes you feel really you're on top of things, and other times you just feel very,
bottom
very
out. Yes, ma'am.
I mean, it's gone.
You
I don't
are
feel
describing
I just do not
loosely
feel it
the
anymore.
symptoms of something that's called bipolar disorder. You could have that.
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
no shame a mental health problem.
It is
I
not,
was
you know.
diagnosed with depression many years ago.
Right.
So maybe while you're here, you can talk with our counselor about being evaluated, because there are medications that you can choose to take that will level out your mood and make you feel less anxious. Would that be a good idea?
I will do anything to keep
Shake
this
on
woman.
that.
Yes, ma'am. I will do that. I sure will.
Okay.
Yes, he does.
Come on. We'll be right back. Next, what happened after the cameras stopped rolling? Updates on today's guests.
You are the fire. Get off my stage.
The truth is revealed.
I think she was having sex.
Today on Trisha. Welcome back. Now, what do you think happened to our guests from today's show after the results were revealed and they all went home? Well, as always, we waited right up until this episode would air to get you the most accurate information. So here is today's Trisha Airdate update. Well, after leaving the show, Cheryl and Jimmy decided it would be best to get a separation. Cheryl says Jimmy will never trust her again, so she's better off trying to move on with her life. Jimmy admits they were no longer in love with each other, and he too is ready to move on. Albert and Rebecca chose to take a break after leaving the show. Albert moved out of Rebecca's mom's house and is now staying with Krystal and Lamont. Rebecca has not allowed Albert to see her or the baby since the show, but he is hoping she'll come around soon so he can continue to be in his son's life, and so do I. We'll be right back. The truth is revealed.
I think she was having sex.
Today on Trisha. You know, just when you think you've seen everything, this show never ceases to amaze me. Join me again tomorrow when we'll have more truth.